Vaughn, 4 homers and 30.
We'll slide you into this edition of The Desk. Can the Wings stop the Avalanche and keep the three-peat dream alive? The Bruins look to give the Sabres another rough ride in their series. Justin Papineau tries to ride his Bulls over Acadie Bathurst. Latrell Sprewell wants to juke his Knicks by the Hawks. Dean Palmer gives the Jays some hope at Skydome. Joe Torre makes his return for the Yankees, but Pedro Martinez wants to spoil the show. Jays Luis Gonzalez is still going. Griffey continues his sweet stroke in Seattle, while Sammy continues to show he's not your so-so power hitter. Keep it tuned. We're going up and over on the next edition of Sports Desk.
Welcome to Sports Desk with Dave Randorf in Vancouver. I'm Rod Smith in Toronto. 2 Stanley Cup quarterfinals ended Monday night, Dave. The other 2 were poised to end Tuesday in Detroit. The 2-time defending champs facing elimination by Colorado.
And the last team to beat the Red Wings in the playoffs were the Colorado Avalanche back in 1996. Since then, you know the story. The Wings have won the last 2 Stanley Cups, and up until about a week or so ago, there was no reason to think they wouldn't add a third. But here are those Avalanche again, rebounding after losing the first 2 in Denver, ready to push the defending champs over the edge. And as usual, lots of focus on this guy. Chris Osgood was actually quite good in the first period, but the Wings do give up that all-important first goal. Detroit looked nervous in the opening period, and it showed here. Kaminsky to Forsberg, 1-0 Colorado. A wild second, and look at the Avs rookie Milan Hejduk carries into the Red Wing zone, makes a great move on Chris Chelios, and then fires a shot, but Osgood is up to the task and turns it aside. But moments later, Aaron Miller's point shot is tipped by Hejduk. The rookie gets his 5th of the playoffs. It's 2-0. A few minutes later, Sylvain Lefebvre passes to Kaminsky. He drops to Chris Drury, and another fine Colorado rookie fires it by Osgood. 3-0. Osgood was shell-shocked, and the Wings are in big trouble. They get a power play at the 8-minute mark of the period. Chance to climb back in, but disaster strikes. Igor Larionov had his pocket picked, and before he knew what had happened, Joe Sakic made it 4-0 Colorado. And Scotty's been around long enough to know that this one was pretty well over. But just as we were all thinking that, Nick Lidstrom ignites the entire place. Rattles it off the post, off Patrick and in, 4-1. 29 seconds later, Todd Gill rips a shot. McCarty tips it in front, and all of a sudden, the Wings are back in at 4-2. They pressed like mad in the third period, but here's the killer. And it's a classic example of the strength and determination of Peter Forsberg. His second of the game makes it 5-2. Game, set, series. And the reality of the situation hit home with the Wings. The run was over, but a big thumbs up to the crowd of the Joe. They gave their team a standing O, thanking them for 2 cups and a lot of great hockey in between. You can bet some of that admiration was for their hated rivals from Colorado as well. A worthy opponent. There's your final. 5-2. Colorado over Detroit. The Avs won 4 in a row against the Red Wings. And in those 4 games, Forsberg with 4 goals and 4 assists. Detroit sure made it interesting, cutting that lead to 4-2 heading into the third, but the Colorado Avalanche never lost their confidence.
Well, we didn't panic, but, I mean, it's a good thing that happened at the end of the period. I mean, we still, you know, when we got in the dressing room, we said, hey, we still won that second period 3-2. Then as we said, if we don't lose any period, we can't lose this game, and that's what we did in the third. We won the third period as well.
One thing that they did throughout the series and did well, particularly in the third there, when we had a great chance, they clog up the front of the net. And like Shanny, there was one play where he just walked into it right high in the slot in the third period. Great opportunity, and he blasted it and hits the defenseman.
In the East, Game 6 in Buffalo, the Sabres leading the Bruins 3-2, trying to move on to the conference final for the 2nd straight year and hoping the Dominator was feeling better. Dominic Hasek, complaining of a pulled groin, was pulled after 2 periods of Game 5 after allowing 4 goals on 26 shots. Mike Pekka trying to get back on track after having his 8-game point streak halted in Game 5. First period, Buffalo power play, Mike Pekka back on track. There's the goal. Buffalo, by the way, 7-0 when Pekka records a point in the playoffs. Minutes later, Bruins power play, Jason Allison in the corner. Now, Hasek thinks Allison still has it. Well, that must have been a quick pass there. Steve Hines has it, and he scores to tie it up at 1. Buffalo responding. Jeff Sanderson, a nice move there. Byron Defoe's poke check goes to Wayne Primo, and that's Primo's goal, 2-1 after 1 Buffalo. A minute 8 into the second. Eric Rasmussen out of the corner. Curtis Brown knocking it in to make it 3-1 Sabres. They're not going to look back. Joe Thornton stepping up for the Bruins, rocking Richards, Mellick. Boston, though, desperate for another goal. Ray Bourque steps into this one, but no one is there to screen Hasek. He's got a clean look at it. He stops it minutes later. Bourque shot deflected. Steve Hines, rebound. Hasek, nothing but there to stop the puck. Sergei Samsonov, a great chance. Open net at the side, but he still couldn't tuck it in. Just over a minute left, and the Boston net is empty. Jason Allison wins the draw. Matthias Timmender, the shot is tipped by Joe Thornton, and so Boston is within a goal. It's 3-2, but that's as close as they would get. Hasek and the rest of the Sabres celebrate. He had 23 saves in the night. And yes, Buffalo fans thinking about a little trip down the QEW in Ontario to face the Toronto Maple Leafs. That's the matchup for